for a little bit more on the Dow. Let's get to Yahoo Finance's Jared Blikre for a look at what's moving here.
Something a little bit different this morning. Nvidia and Sherwin-Williams have joined the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Just as the People's Index welcomes Jensen Huang's chip darling, along with a well-known paint company, the Dow is saying goodbye to Intel and Dow Inc., the materials company, staying capped at 30 stocks, same as it's been since 1928. And while the Dow looks to represent industrial America, for decades now, critics have highlighted the lack of tech stocks. Only earlier this year, retail giant Amazon was switched in for Walgreen Boots. This brought the total number of tech-focused companies in the index to 7 for the first time. But the Dow's foray into tech, that started way back in 1979 when IBM joined. And then it was another 18 years before Hewlett-Packard got the nod in 97. And things got really interesting as the dot-com boom hit bubble territory. In October 1999, Microsoft and Intel, they got tapped, replacing Goodyear, Tire, and Chevron, in addition to a couple other switch-outs. Now, at the time, investors and pundits were mostly positive on the move. Charles B. Carlson, writing for Dow Theory Forecast, said they've addressed the major criticisms of the Dow, saying that it's too stodgy and not representative of the new economy.
Yeah.
Well, fans of Nvidia, they should take note that from the day Intel was chosen in 1999 to its peak in August 2000, it rallied 110% in less than a year. A similar rally in Nvidia would take it to about $285 a share. So note that this calculation is very back of the envelope. And not to pick on Intel too much, but it's a great example of how difficult it is to pick winners and losers amid an ongoing mania. That new economy back in '99, it was about to hit a brick wall. When the dot-com bubble bust, Intel crashed 80% back to earth. Then over the next 2 decades, it slowly rallied up to its prior highs, only to sputter and fall once again. It's still down 25% from that Dow announcement date way back in '99. And Microsoft has done a lot better since 1999, up over 900%. But all those gains came after 2014. The stock was dead money for a decade and a half. So who's calling the shots for these big Dow decisions anyway? Back in '99, it was basically 2 Wall Street Journal editors who got together and made the calls. Nowadays, the Dow is managed by S&P Dow Jones Indices, and they maintain an index committee to manage the components. Now, in general, the committee is looking for US-based companies that have excellent reputations, that show strong growth, and that have also generated widespread interest among the investing public. They want the composition of the index to reflect industrial America, so sector allocation is key. And finally, the stock price is also a consideration, and here's where the controversy comes in. Now, the Dow dates all the way back to the 19th century, long before the age of computers or even modern calculators. So as its name says, it's an average. Stocks with higher prices influence the index more, which is quite a bit different than just about every other index on Earth. The NASDAQ and S&P 500, they weight stocks by value or market cap. But back to the present, Sherwin-Williams stock is about $385, while Nvidia's is $150. That means that what happens on a daily basis in this barely $100 billion paint stock is going to be 2.5 times more important than Nvidia, which is now, by the way, the largest stock in the world by value at $3.6 trillion. Investors don't need to worry about fund flows around this index change. There's very little ETF and mutual fund money that tracks the Dow, so this move is more about the cachet of being a part of the world's most famous stock index, the People's Index. Welcome to the Dow, Nvidia, and Sherwin-Williams.